Studio. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and you?
Good. I saw yesterday you were at the event eating pancakes for backing the vest.
Yes. You know what? It was a great event. I mean, the community really turned out. There's a lot of police officers and first responders that live down in Beverly, but the St. Francis School was just a great event. And the pancakes were pretty good, too.
Well, that's key. I think that people are blown away that they get one vest when they get out of the academy, and from there on out, it's their job to pay for that vest.
Well, you know, look, we're in the process of negotiating a new contract with the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, and that's something that I'm certainly open to looking at. I want people to be clear, they get a lot of other benefits, and it's a trade-off. But if that's something that they want to elevate over other things, I'm certainly open to that conversation.
The last time you were in the studio, you had just been elected, and I talked to a woman downstairs who works in a restaurant. She's a single mom, and I said, what do you think about Mayor Lori Lightfoot? And she said, I think she's more about the people and less about the politics, which I thought was a fantastic campaign slogan. But how do you operate in a city like this when you want to be about the people and take care of the people, but we are knee-deep in politics?
Well, you can't let the politics get in the way. I think that's the thing that you have to do. I try to live my values every single day, and I know who I am and what my North Stars are. I am out in the public a lot, in part because I want to listen. I want to see with my own eyes, and I want to hear from people. And when you do that, then you're free in a way to operate in a way that's just about putting people first. And the benefit that I have of not having grown up in the Democratic machine here in Chicago, and I got elected without that machine backing. In fact, I ran against it. It frees me up to be able to focus on the policy and not the politics. Now, the politics are always going to be there, but what I try to do is build this continuing chorus of people all across the city who really want change and want elected officials to put them first.
For people like my mom, she lives with me. We have mothers about the same age. She lives in the burbs. She watches TV way too much because that's what she's got time to do. Yeah. She's scared to death of me driving in this city every day. What do you say to those people who live in the burbs who might be frightened to even come downtown when I can tell you from my perspective, there should be no fear, but what do you say to those people?
Well, look, what I can tell you is look at the data, which is that our violent crime rate is going down every year, year over year, by substantial percentages. But I also want to make sure that Chicago is, in fact, the safest big city in the country, and we're doing a lot to make sure that that happens. But the city of Chicago is open for business. It is safe to be here, in particularly the downtown area, any area that people are coming in from the suburbs, all the major tourist attractions. We place a premium on making sure that those areas, as we do with other parts of the city, are very, very safe.
In the 80s, Houston had an issue where people were very frightened of that city. Crime was rampant. My experience, having lived there, was they allowed police officers to take jobs outside of the department wearing their uniform as guards at doors or taking individual gigs like that. They make more money, but they're allowed to wear their uniform and carry their firearm. Is that something that will ever be introduced here?
Well, that happens now. Right now, policemen can basically take any side job that they want. Not surprisingly, many of them work as security at restaurants, at stores, and so forth. But what I want to make sure is that on the day job, the job as a police, that everybody is focused on the primary mission, which is serving and protecting the city. People have to feel safe. Public safety can't just be a commodity that's available to the wealthy. I want to make sure no matter what your zip code is, no matter what your economic status is, that you live in a safe and vibrant and healthy community. And that's a lot of the work that we've been engaged in over these last 9 months.
And it's Fat Tuesday tomorrow. When's the last time you had a punchki?
Listen, this is the embarrassing thing. I spent all this time yesterday looking at where can I get one, what are the different flavors, so believe me, I'll be consuming some tomorrow.
I'm certain people will be bringing them to you. Thank you for coming in. I sincerely appreciate it. The last time you were in, you mentioned that you liked older country, classic country. You like Johnny Cash. You like that kind of stuff. Well, last week we launched this thing called the Big 1000, the top 1,000 country songs of all time. We played all that music. People voiced their opinion. In fact, they shouted on social media, and we brought it back. So,
oh, that's great.
You're going to like to listen to this station again.
Well, you know what? I am a big fan of kind of old country music. Patsy Cline is one of my all-time favorites. I think I've got every song that she ever sang, every song that she wrote. And look, I think when I watch the award shows, they're bringing people back, right? It had been this kind of youth movement and moving away from traditional Nashville. Now they're bringing folks back. You see Loretta Lynn had a prominent place. Other people like that. I think it's just Tammy Wynette. It's great stuff.
It was so fun to play all of that last week. It was very cool because there's been an issue in country radio with females not getting enough airplay.
Yeah.
And that was an era where there seemed to be a little more parity at a time when there was no parity in the nation, but it was on country radio. Also, one last thing. Did you laugh? Did you personally laugh when Anderson Cooper called out Blagojevich on his lack of remorse?
Well,
because I roared.
Listen, I think about 10 different people sent me that clip, so I watched it, and I'm never going to get those 13 minutes back. But my hat's off to Anderson Cooper. He had done his homework. He gave that guy no quarter whatsoever, and I don't think you can say the B word probably on radio. But I was glad that he called it like he saw it. And listen, I hope we put Rod Blagojevich back into the archives of history. Man, you just got out. Stay with your family. Be with them. And this fantasy that he was a political prisoner, that's insulting to anybody who knows what a real political prisoner is. Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, other people around the world who are truly suffering. Rod, you did the crime. You did the time. Now move on.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot, thank you so much for coming into the big studios.
My pleasure.